Okay, I am doing a little demo of the latest version of FujiNet config ng, and there's a first glimpse of my new Linux desktop. Here we go, FujiNet config ng. What have we got? Let's go and put ourselves on there. Well, first of all, the major change for this is a thing called page group caching. So what it now does is allows you to browse your folders, and it will cache the directories. As you can see there, we immediately got a page full of results as opposed to it reading them one at a time. So I need to push the changes up to FujiNet firmware, but some code I wrote about 2 years ago I've now actually finished off and implemented on the client side. Here we go. As you can see at the very bottom as well, there's a new extra line that shows the date timestamp of the current selection, and if it's a file, it'll show the file size as well, all nicely formatted there. I do have, at the moment it does it in DDMM, but I will have a configuration for you Americans who like to have MMDDs for some crazy reason. So let's do some directory browsing. We'll go into Apple 8-bit. You can see in the background I've got my FujiNet here. You can see the results are coming down as one single fetch. This is a configurable amount at the moment. It asks for 2K of data and retrieves as many page groups as it can for the current directory that you're in for that. So you can see instantly we can move between these two pages, and there's no fetching going on from the FujiNet anymore. We've got instant directory browsing there. Again, we've got all the file sizes and everything else going on here. It's 24-bit file sizes as well. So the current FujiNet firmware for config only supports, I think, 16 bits, so it only goes up to 65,535. As you can see here, we've got a 1 meg file, and it will take up to 16 gig on 24 bits. I can never remember. Anyway, let's drill. First of all, let's go back a directory. If I go up a directory, boom, immediately there. So, and we can go all the way down and all the way up through directories that we've already looked at. So you can see there's no FujiNet fetch there. It's instantaneous because it's fetching them all from cache. The cache is stored in banked RAM. If you don't have any banked RAM on your machine, it'll just default to the old format of just fetching them line by line. If we go into games, you'll see at the top level here, we've got a few files in here. If we go into HomeSoft, HomeSoft has a huge number of directories and files. It's so fast. Go into the A's. I've been testing on this one. There's a hell of a lot of files. So what happens if you get to the end of all the pages that you've retrieved and it hasn't got any more? Oh yeah, first of all, let's just show scrolling text there. There's a custom value that you can slow that down to. So this is at its fastest. It does a little bounce of the file name on whatever you're on. There's a small delay before it does that. But if you go onto a page where it hasn't actually fetched the data yet, it'll fetch as many pages as it can in that allocated memory that it's got. So the 2K of memory just to go and fetch a whole bunch of new pages. So we can see that it's fetched another 3. So now we've got 6 pages. So and again, it's all still cached. So we can go back all the way up to the top and all the way down into Atari 8-bit. I'll follow the path that I was on, obviously, for now. Obviously, I can go into high score enabled, cache that. That'll get the value, all the data for there's only 3 pages there. I've not been into that one before. There we go. File size 92176. You can see it. Then we can come back up, and I can go back into HomeSoft, go back into A, and now we've got those 6 pages still there. And then eventually, obviously, if you move to the right enough, you'll get another bunch of pages. There's loads of bold dash ones there, and I think this is the last group in the A's. So, oh no, there's one more. go. Finally, we get to the end. So, boom, we've got all of the A's cached. So we can come back out all the way up to the top and go all the way back down again, and we'll see that. You can go into as many directories as you want here. Apple Games has obviously got the big one there, 16 meg file on that one. You can see in the bottom right hand corner with the date timestamp there. Go back in and we go back into Atari 8-bit. We're still cached here. So it'll keep caching until it runs out of banked RAM, and then what we will do then is start expunging things from the cache to make room for more fetches. So it'll use up as much banked RAM as you've got. It uses up to 64 banks. Obviously, if you've got less, it'll use less. I'm running on a 256 Rambo here, so there's only 10 16k banks in this one. But as you can see, I can go back into HomeSoft here, and it's just fast as lightning once it's loaded those first few pages. Everything works as normal. You can, where are we, games? So you can just load it directly into whichever slot you want as a read-write as usual, and come back out, and there it is, it's loaded. And we could just use, I've not actually tried this as a F4, mount this, see what it's like. I'm going off script as always. Let's see the main things in FujiNet config ng. Changes, come on. One other thing to say is that the cache is always reinitialized when you, TTT. The cache is always reinitialized when you come back to the top level and go back in again. And that way, if you want to, it'll make sure that you haven't got a permanent cache there. So if something has changed in that file system, you can always come back out and go back in again. So here we can see if I go to here, I've cached that now. So if I went into Atari 8-bit, it's cached. But if I come all the way out and then go back into AppSwriter Online, it's refetching that because it's reinitialized the cache from scratch. So you can always get your a fresh view by exiting and then going back in again. That's the main thing. Yep, you can see the path. The path doesn't animate. I've not bothered with that. It still shows the end of it. It just ellipsizes that one. But that's about it, I think, for now. The preferences, just one little thing there. We've got animation delay, so if I up that all the way to 15, which is its slowest, it does a little, that's how long the delay is in between each frame it's using for the animation. I've now got to go and find one, which is under Games, HomeSoft A, and third page. Anybody think I've been testing this quite a bit? Third page, there we go. So if I let that animate, you can see it goes really slowly for those who, can't read quickly. There's a little bounce at the end there as well, where it pauses slightly before it bounces back. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy. It's taken a while, but there we go. I shall be pushing the changes into FujiNet firmware and then doing a release for this so that people can use it and give me some feedback. Thank you.